I'm going to talk about the theory and the neurology behind sensory processing, but we'll do this noddy style because you don't really need to understand it in any more depth. Sensory information comes into the body and travels up the brain on one of two routes. The alerting route sends information which puts us into a high state of alert. It makes us go, it leads to the flight or fight response. These things are pain, light touch, and changes in temperature. Sensory information which comes into the body and calms the brain down are things like heavy touch, deep pressure, and vibration. They travel up what we'll call the calming route. The alerting route is all about keeping us safe, so that when you put your hand on something hot, you take it off quickly to avoid a burn. If you stand on a drawing pin, for example, you lift your foot off before it goes right through your foot because of the pain that it evokes. And if someone touches you lightly, it tends to also cause a message to go up the alerting route to the brain and might make you jump. When we apply deep pressure to the body or heavy touch, we increase proprioceptive feedback, and all of this information goes up a route to the brain which calms the brain down. It's about the body learning more and discovering more. Vibration also travels up this route to the brain. So imagine this scenario. You're getting ready for work in the morning, putting your clothes on in the dark in the bedroom, and you stub your toe. The first thing that happens is a message travels up the alerting route to the brain so that you feel pain. In response to that, it's quite normal to grab onto that part of the body that's hurting, whether that be your big toe because you stubbed it, your funny bone because you banged your elbow, whichever part of you you've hurt, you will naturally hold on to it really firmly. When you do this, you apply deep pressure and proprioceptive feedback, which also travels up to the brain. We've now got two competing sensations going up to the brain, almost trying to beat each other. The pressure you apply definitely gives you a sense of relief, and that's because when those two competing messages get to the brain, there's effectively a funnel or a gateway which only lets one sensation through rather than the other, or more of one sensation than the other. The deep pressure, the proprioceptive feedback, beats the alerting information every time, and therefore you will feel a sense of relief if you apply deep pressure or proprioceptive feedback to something that's painful. This is why we say rubber bump. We apply deep pressure to a grazed knee or a bruise, and we've been doing this for many years with lots of children without ever knowing why. It's also the same way that a TENS machine works. If you've ever used a TENS machine, maybe in labour or for back pain, the prickly sensations that the TENS machine creates travel on the calming route up to the brain and flood the brain with calming information which prevents the pain from getting through. That's how a TENS machine works. So how do we apply this to our children with sensory processing difficulties? Well, imagine you have a child who is stressed and anxious for whatever reason. It may be due to an underlying learning disability or an autism spectrum disorder when life is generally harder to cope with. This stress and anxiety sends messages up the alerting route to the brain, putting us into that state of high alert. If we can apply some deep pressure to that child's body through whatever means, it might be rolling them under a gym ball, it might be rocking in straight lines, it might be having a big bear hug, it might be having a nice massage. We will flood the brain with proprioceptive feedback, which we know travels up the calming route to the brain. and will bring some sense of relief out of this state of stress and high anxiety, because the calming, deep pressure information will beat the stress and anxiety type information.